Hello everybody, welcome back to an episode of just on playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 100%. Last episode we finished off Hyrule Castle, basically. We didn't go to fight Calamity Ganon because that's for the end of the game, but I did get a lot of the chests in there and all of the koroks, definitely. So I'm basically done with Central Hyrule right now. Today we're gonna go and explore this particular island part, something or whatever, like just a part of this. There we go, English, perfect. This is also going to be an interesting experience for me, because I just want to talk about this a little bit because I do find it interesting to talk about, and maybe it's a subject that might not always be talked about. I have no idea. So I've mentioned this before on the channel, I think, a couple of times, but I have over the years, I should say, I've developed some anxiety issues. Just like there's nobody's fault. Like it just happens, really. There's nobody and nothing at fault for me getting this. It's just a thing that happened. It was inside me from the day I was born, I think, but it just got worse and worse the older I got, because at that point I started, you know, noticing a lot more unpleasant things about real life. And one of the things that is like consistently difficult for me are weekends that I am alone. Like weekends or just days or moments in general, I would say, that I'm alone, like home alone. Totally alone, you know? And also like, it's not as bad if I know that my family members are gonna come back in the day somewhere, or like by evening, like even late in the evening or whatever. As long as somebody is there, I'm fine, usually. Like, I'm more fine, I'd say it like that. I still have issues, I still have difficulties here and there, but it's better when there are people around. So I have weekends where tend to have like maybe not the most issues, I would say, but it is very difficult for me. And the only way that I can escape that particular mindset or the panic and anxiety and like a lot of crap is by just gaming. That's one of the things that I do to distract myself from all the shenanigans and just try to make the best out of it. So right now, at this very moment, I am once again in a weekend where I am home alone. And usually I wouldn't record videos because I think it's a little bit too risky, because it would maybe trigger my anxiety or whatever. And now it's just like, you know, the only reason why I was getting nervous today in any case was just because I wasn't doing anything. From the moment that I went upstairs, I was eating my dinner, and from the moment that I was here in my room, and I was thinking like, you know, maybe I should go and just continue making videos. Like, what is stopping me from doing it? And then I just began, and I feel fine for the moment. And the thing is, like, I feel like I should at least give some of these things a try, because I feel, quite surprisingly, I feel the most comfortable making videos. And yeah, I should just give these things a try every now and then to see if I can feel comfortable doing things, because the automatic response that I have is to basically lock myself up, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I guess lock myself up, yeah. Just like I have the automatic response to hide away back into my shell. Like, go and play a game or whatever, fully distract myself, and ignore real life, and ignore anything that I was doing before. So I'm actually really proud of myself that I am now making videos. It's not the first time that I've done it, but I've had a couple of moments where I've, actually in this particular playthrough even, this was at the end of my first session or something. I also had a weekend where I was home alone. And yeah, or was it a weekend at that point? I think so, yeah. I had a weekend that I was home alone and I did not feel amazing. It was fine still, but yeah, it wasn't amazing. I don't feel as comfortable as I feel right now. Of course, I'm not going to be celebrating too early, and once again, if I start feeling really uncomfortable or something, I'll just go and stop recording and continue later on. But for the time being, I'm just enjoying myself. It's like any other regular old day, nothing special. That's the thing, though. That's the peculiar part, because you would think that I wouldn't have that. Like, one of the things that I do in my life, I would say, is like right now with my videos. Almost every single evening, I'm almost the entire evening upstairs, just doing my thing. So I don't really see my parents. Like, when it comes to the evening, like in the day I see them a lot, but when it comes to the evening, I usually don't see them for almost don't see them. It totally depends on what's happening on that particular evening. So you would think that by not seeing my parents too much when I'm making videos and when I'm in my room and all that jazz, that it would be easier, you know, to have those people leave, but it still gives me an uncomfortable feeling when I'm home alone. I think this is an uncomfortable feeling that everybody has, I think, or a lot of people tend to have, let's say it like that. But for me, it of course sometimes induces anxiety and panic attacks and straight up getting paralyzed by fear and all that jazz. It's pretty bonkers. I wanted to talk about it because I do find it, well, I'm not sure how much it's talked about, you know? If you have issues like this, well, it totally depends, man. Like, as long as you think you can handle the issues, then it's fine in my opinion. But once you get the feeling that it starts like impeding your social life, or just like your life in general, like the choices that you can do, then I do feel that you should probably at least talk about it. Like, you don't even have to go on an epic journey trying to find yourself or whatever. And I think in a lot of cases it's not even necessary. In a lot of cases, a lot of people just feel bad because they're misunderstood or people don't want to listen to them or whatever. That's the unfortunate part about humanity, I would say. It's not everywhere, of course. There's more than enough people in the world that definitely like to help other people in any kind of way. Like, a lot of people even have jobs which they don't get paid for and they help people. Like, it's a thing. But I feel like when it comes to my generation, well, my generation is not as bad, I think. But when it comes to like psychological issues, some like for instance with me, which are like irrational fears basically, which is my anxiety issue. Yeah, it just, I think if you never come into contact with an issue like that, like with just a psychological issue in general, be it depression, anxiety, whatever the hell else you can have, I wouldn't know all of it. As long as you don't get in touch with one of those issues at a certain point in your life, like even as a bystander or something, you don't have to suffer through it on your yourself. But even if you're just a bystander, you can, a lot of the times you can understand a lot more what is happening. That is if you are a person who is like directly involved with the person in question who has a lot of issues. I've noticed this with my entire family actually, because like back in the day, I'm gonna think for a moment though, because it's been a while. So my uncle used to have like he had the depression at a certain point, like a pretty heavy depression with like suicide attempts and all that jazz. Was pretty dang intense. And my parents, and just I think everybody around him, I feel like the one thing that I find so unfortunate about him is that like I feel like nobody really understood him. Nobody also, well, I guess they tried, but it was very difficult to understand the reason why he had the depression. And that's like something with a lot of psychological issues, which are a lot of times just really difficult to understand. And one of the things that you can do, like, some people are really good in that. Some people are like really aren't good in unlocking people, if I should say it like that. Like some people can talk to other people and then make them confess things or make them say things or notice things that they never knew before, which is mostly how do you say it in English? Like psychology, basically. People who study psychology and have a job in an knowledge test, they're really good. Like they're trained for it, so they know how to. At least usually they know how to do that entire thing. And so he had depression and he did multiple suicide attempts. And there was a moment where where we kind of noticed that his life was turning around a little bit for the better. Like he had been struggling for quite a long time, and then eventually he got basically back on his feet. Like we could really see him improve again. It was actually really nice to see. But then, unfortunately, because of his bad habits in his life in general, it made it so that he had we don't really know what happened, or at least I don't know specifically what happened, but he died at a certain point. Just like kind of at random, out of nowhere, he died. He, I think he did have something on, something bad happened to his heart or whatever, But like all of it had to do with this really bad, I'd say really bad lifestyle choices because of the depression, and also just in general in his life. He wasn't an angel. He wasn't the best. When he like I would say it just like wasn't the best person. But once again, then I feel like the way that I look at that is that I feel like he's very misunderstood and nobody tried to understand him. Because his generation is of course like an entire different thing compared to my generation. At least my generation can listen a little bit, while I think his generation was a lot more hardy, and his parents also wouldn't really listen. My grandparents, by the way. So that happened, which made like my entire family a little bit more aware of psychological issues. Me not really, because I wasn't directly involved, but my parents definitely. They definitely knew what was happening. And after a while, because of just a lot of things that happened in my life, and also the death of my uncle and everything that happened to him, it started to fill me with a lot of anxiety and all that jazz, and then my issues started to come up. And in the beginning, I couldn't explain what was happening. I had no idea what the fuck was happening. I just constantly felt really bad. I also had like a traumatic experience from watching some horror shenanigans on YouTube or whatever. I don't want to think too much about it. I don't want to talk about it because it's not fun. But that is something that did trigger my anxiety. And yeah, it's been a road. A lot of people didn't really understand me. I also felt like I couldn't really talk to people because they wouldn't I felt that they wouldn't be able to understand me and all that jazz, which is wrong. Like I should have just tried to explain myself a little bit more. Should have gone to somebody with a psychological background a lot sooner than I did. I did eventually do it, and yeah, that is this thing that saved my life, I suppose. Like not in the way that you might be thinking, because I was never really thinking about suicide, or at least not too much. But like I was stuck. Like I was 100% stuck in my life. I had no vision of the future. I had no idea what the hell I was gonna do to get myself out of it. And yeah, just like talking about it really helped in general, like for the beginning. And then since I waited so long, my entire issue was so deep rooted, and still is really deep rooted, to the point that it's not easily fixed by having a conversation or by like trying to understand what is happening or whatever. My issue is like my anxiety is deeply ingrained in me, and it's like I'm working on it. It's difficult, but I'm working on it. And yeah, it's gonna take some time until I'm never gonna be the same person anymore. That's a thing that I know, but it is gonna take some time until I can quote unquote enjoy my life again. Even though I am enjoying my life, but you know what I mean. Like I'm technically free, but I also feel like I'm in chains because I can't do much because of my anxiety and because of the panic shenanigans. It makes it so that I can barely do any activities without having without sparking the fear of like, oh god, I can panic really hard over there if certain things happen, or I can have this happen to me and then I'll start panicking again. And like, and another thing that like makes it even more difficult, I would say, my particular predicament. And I think like I'm 100% sure I'm not the only one dealing with this kind of issues, but because of all of the mental shenanigans that happens, it also makes me really stressed, which in turn makes my body really stressed, which in turn creates like physical issues, creates like cramped up muscles and just a lot of uncomfortable shenanigans. My heart also, like my heart skips beats pretty dang regularly and does some other weird crap every now and then. It's just pure because of the amount of stress that I pump through my body on a daily basis. And yeah, it's insane, man. It's pure insanity. If I can call it anything, it's just pure insanity. But I'm working on it, and I'm really proud of myself that I'm as far as I already am. Can I please burn it? Thank you. But I do really have to be careful though. Like, well, yeah, I do though. There's a couple of things that I never need to go and do again. The stuff that triggered my entire anxiety, like all the... This is the reason why I don't really like horror games or anything that is too serious. It's mainly because of the fact that if I, like... That like, just like certain fragments have traumatized me for life. And yeah, I don't want anything to do with that entire franchise anymore. I can understand that if you... what the fuck? I can understand that, like, some people really like that stuff, but yeah, no, I can never look at that stuff again. Never in my life. And I will never do it again. It's as simple as that. I cannot... Like, I have no idea what would happen if I gave myself another trauma like that. Because, yeah. It's insane, man. My life is insane. At this point, my life is fucking insane. But I'm still enjoying myself, to a degree. That's the thing, though, like... I think there's also a pretty big difference between... Like, there's always a big difference between... Like, I would say, like, every single psychological issue is a different case on its own. Like, it's never the same. It has, like, maybe similarities to a certain issue, but for every single person, it's going to be different. For me, the handy thing is that I am... Like, I can be negative every now and then, which, like... I feel like I'm always negative, but apparently, like, according to my friends and my family and a lot of people I know, I'm actually pretty dang positive in my life. And it's the same when it comes to this issue. Even though I will say I've kind of like given up on fixing my issue for quite some time. But I've like I found the spark again to continue fighting it. And at moments like this, I do notice like that I am a pretty dang positive person. Because even though I am quote unquote suffering, I'm not gonna be like, I don't want to make it sound too bad, because then it just becomes really depressive. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even want to acknowledge how bad it is, because it is pretty dang bad, but I don't want to acknowledge how bad it is, because that's just a little bit depressing. Yeah, it's insane. So I have this weekend that I'm alone. I have next weekend that I'm going to be alone for even a longer period of time. And then I have, in the week after that, I'm going to have to go to multiple places, which is also very anxiety-inducing and very scary for me, but I'm gonna do it because I need to fix my life. And that, like, the weekend from that week, I'm also home alone for multiple days again, like more than a weekend in any case. And then I have no idea what's gonna happen, and I don't really think about that too much, because another thing I've learned lately in my life is don't think too far ahead, because it's only gonna give me more stress. I usually only think about the days. Like, once I wake up, I think like, okay, I'm gonna be dealing with the shit from today and not from tomorrow. That's like another thing that I've learned. I've changed a lot as a person. Like, I feel if you look at our videos from in the beginning, I would say, like, that's always gonna be the same, of course. Like, you're always gonna have, when it comes to a content creator, you're always gonna see them change. Like, I think that's just a fact. But with me personally, like, I don't think you would be able to notice it if you didn't know me as a person. Or, well, I think it's only me that notices it, but I have changed so much in the way that I deal with a lot of things, and in the way that I just am in general, I feel. I'm still the same person, like, I still have the same personality and the same character, like, I'm still just the same guy, but the way that I deal with a lot of things is just so much different. So much better also, like, in my opinion, I feel like I'm a much better person than I ever was before. I feel like back in the day I was a lot more of an asshole. It was, of course, like, I do think it has something to do with, like, the environment that I grew up in. I didn't have the best classmates when I was in middle school, I think. So that wasn't really that amazing, but I don't know, man. It's weird. I feel like you can especially see it when it comes to, like, interactions between me and Cube. Where back in the day I would be, like, I've noticed that back in the day I would be, like, a really big asshole to him. But now that is totally changed. I'm also going in the wrong direction. Alright, doesn't matter. So, to conclude this entire speech that I've just given, if you have an issue, please just don't let it sit. Don't let it go too deep into your psyche, because, like, the longer you wait with trying to figure out things that you're struggling with, or to not talk about something, the more you're gonna, or at least in my case, like, the deeper you're gonna go, and you don't wanna, trust me, you don't wanna end up as me, really. Sure, it makes me stronger as a person, yes, But my god, do I have to grind my teeth and suffer a lot to get anything done. So it's not like it's not a good price to pay, trust me. Meanwhile, I'm also playing Breath of the Wild, you know, getting a lot of different things. I did really feel like I needed to talk about it though. Not only for myself, but also for maybe other people. Like, you know, the 2 people that watch these videos. Or who knows, maybe even more if I'm lucky at this point. I have no idea. There we go. What do I get? I get an opal. Nice. Right, next up is a chest over here. I think I first want to go and get the korok that's down there. Oh, yep.
Rivali's gale is now ready.
Thank you. And after I've done, I'm sorry, but after I've done like any of these big old speeches, where I try to say my thoughts, you know, because I'm not always the best in English, so I can't always explain myself properly, I feel. I'm pretty dang decent, I'm not bad at English, but I do struggle to explain things at certain moments. But whenever I've done like a big speech like this, I always like, I'm always like very confused because I'm like, oh yeah, right, back to normal commentary. How do I do normal commentary again? I think this is a thing that like a lot of people have when you've just finished like a big topic of some kind, and then you're like, oh yeah, and what we're gonna talk about now? Alright. Save my game, because it's time to roll some boulders. The boulder? Wait, what? Yes, obscured by tree. Go get him, boy. Please, get in the hole. He didn't get into the hole, and he's gonna keep on rolling downwards, I think. Yeah, I'm not gonna be chasing that boulder. Push. Push me, and then just touch me, till I can get my satisfaction. I love that song. What the hell is happening with this freaking... I guess I'll roll you from this side. Might be a better idea. Because if I do it from the left, the boulder is gonna go in the wrong direction. I have a tiny feeling that the rain has something to do with this. Because the rain always has something to do with this. That's a little bit shitty. Okay, let me go and maybe try to do a stasis. Just like a little stasis hop. I'm gonna follow this boulder. So I can do this, and then I can stasis him to make him bounce over this way. No, to stop his momentum. And go into the hole. Yahaha, you found me! Bye-bye. Let's see... Bloody rain. And now I suddenly have like a lot of issues giving commentary. Not issues, it's just like, oh yeah, what do I talk about now? It's insane. I have no idea why this constantly happens to me. I don't know, I think I just want to continue talking about the subject, but I don't have anything more to say. Am I the only one who has that in their life? Where they're like, talking about a subject that they actually quite like talking about. And then like, you're basically at the end of the subject, and then you're like, oh, but I wanted to continue talking about it. Even though I've already talked, like, even though I've already said everything, I still want to continue talking about it. Forest Brothers bow, nice. Well, even though it's not amazing, but meh. It's something! Right, gotta get a korok up there. You know what the really nice thing is, though, for now? Well, there's actually 2 really nice things about this particular situation. One, Breath of the Wild is very chill to play and fun. And 2 is that And I instantly forgot about it. And the second thing is that... God damn it, I forgot. The fact that this is an easygoing game, and also the fact that I'm basically done with anything that is too stressful in Breath of the Wild. At least for the time being, like. The more stressful thing that's gonna be... Like, the couple more stressful things in Breath of the Wild left, for me personally, are the Champion's Ballad. But they're gonna be fun and interesting. And we also have the other thing. And we also have the final Master Trial. Or Trial of the Sword, to be precise. Those are the final two things that I would count amongst being scary. There are some korok seeds down here. Should probably go and get these one first. These one! Well, I tried to shield surf over rocks. It's not really gonna work in my favor, I think. Let's see. I knew it. It's almost as if I could see the future. The Monado. The Monado. That's what I told all the non-believers. God loves Xenoblade Chronicles. Will forever be my favorite game, I think. In general, yeah. It's a game that almost always puts me at ease when I play it. Which is something that not all the games can. Well, I wouldn't say that though. Like, if there's one thing that I feel comfortable with, it's definitely games. Games and talking. There you go. That's the reason why I started making videos. Because I like games and I like talking. Even if it's against myself. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter, like, talking is talking. Even like, just the thinking, it's so stupid, but just like the explanation that I just did made me feel better. Even though I'm talking to myself, not even, well, I'm technically talking, like in real life I'm talking to myself, but when it comes to video shenanigans, if I'm lucky, people might be watching also. So I'm technically talking to an audience that might exist or might not exist. So I'm basically talking to my imaginary friends. Another thing that also, just like another thing to add onto my story, another thing that really helped with me personally and I was really lucky with was were my friends, really. Like, if they weren't there, I have no idea. Like, if my friends and my parents weren't there to help me through this entire shenanigans, I have no idea where I would have ended up. Like, this could have ended in a much, like, in a much worse place than I eventually ended up in. The only thing that I would like to change is that I went to look for help earlier in my life. That's the only thing that I would like to change about the entire way that this situation unfolded. No, 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 no. No! Come back here. And a purple rupee. All of that for a purple rupee. Well, I'm gonna need rupees, so not particularly complaining. There is another korok. There's a chest over here somewhere. As we enjoy the beautiful ambience. Because that's basically Breath of the Wild in a nutshell. How long is this episode right now? 29 minutes, okay. I think I can finish up this entire mountain area in one episode. Seems like a good thing to do. I do really like doing that, like finishing areas in one episode. It's one of my favorite things to do, if I'm able to do them. Let's see, I need to go over on this plateau. Because there's a korok race and there's also something else of interest. Mayhaps, of course, because it could also be a Stalmox, yep. Guess I'm not going to be doing that. So, I need to be over there. Whoopsie. I think this might be a climbing armor situation. And I also have to do it pretty dang quickly, because, you know, rain. Rain is imminent. That is actually a lot higher than I expected. Not thinking that I would have to climb all the way there. Shouldn't be too long, no. I have not played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 since I first played the game. Which is pretty dang bonkers when you think about it. But it's also like I did like a 100% playthrough. Like I did everything in that game. In my first playthrough, so... Took me 200 hours, by the way. Just about. So that's a long time. That's longer than I spent on... That might... No, I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna still be spending a lot more time in Assassin's Creed Origin... sorry, not Origins. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I don't even remember how much time I spent in Origins. I did spend quite a lot of time in that though. I feel like Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey have become like two games that I just play when I want to play something. Those are my like go-to games when I just want to play a game and relax. Yeah, it's a very relaxing game that is. Freaking Assassin's Creed where you kill people. And where they're also trying to give you a story. Not particularly an amazing story, but... Who knows, maybe Valhalla will fix a lot of things. I've heard that it's really good, so I'm actually really excited to play that game, but yeah. I'll first have to finish Odyssey. And I'm also really enjoying Odyssey, by the way. It's not like I don't dislike Odyssey, I find it funny. I just don't take it too seriously anymore, Odyssey, which is amazing. Just become, like, almost all of it just becomes a little bit of a joke to me. I also really like the gameplay, so... Let's see, there's just this thing to burn, I think. I should use my spear for stuff like this. Get a load of this. Hello? There we go. Yeah, you found me. Bye-bye. Ouch. I dropped a rock on your face. How does it feel? Probably not amazing. There we go. Another thing I've also learned, like, later on a little bit, I would say. Like, if you look at our videos, or my videos even, from back in the day, you can like, or at least at some certain moments, like, it totally depends. But there were a lot of moments in my life where, like, when I was making videos, I would be, like, super energetic and be really, like, the loud shenanigans, I feel, has died down a little bit. But I still had, like, a lot of energy for... Like, I still used a lot of energy making videos. Which is probably the reason why I sometimes felt pretty dang horrible while making videos, because I was just, like... I was looking for the energy that was already gone. And, yeah. Right now, I'm not doing that. I'm just enjoying myself, being nice and chill. And I think that's more important for me. Right now, which is also, like, the reason why my videos have... changed, if anybody has watched them. Even though I don't think, like, once again, I'm once again, like, over analyzing myself, I think, because I don't really think I've changed that much. Except for, like, there's one big like cut in between, like, one big moment where I changed, I would say. But aside from that, I don't think I have changed too much in my videos. It just depends from moment to moment. Sometimes I'm really energetic, and sometimes I'm almost falling asleep. Or at least it sounds like I'm always falling asleep, but I'm just tired or whatever. Right, so Rippy. But then you might be wondering maybe, like, if you're tired, why don't you stop recording? Because I am stubborn, and I also don't have anything else to do most of the time, so... There we go. Let's see, because there's a korok on the other side. The other side of me. Or something. What is this korok? What does it require me to do? Under a rock. So it's under a rock. Somewhere over there. But I think I'll go and get... well, nah, I'm right here. Fuck it. I'll go and get that thing first. It's under a bloody rock. Sure, it'd be nice if I could find a rock. Where specifically is this? My god, I am so bad at... I'm so bad at marking my things. It's over here. Somewhere. I think I'm just a little bit preoccupied with stuff. Maybe not even preoccupied, just like... I don't know, man. Not gonna try to explain it because I have no idea. The thing I do know is that I'm just gonna be continuing, getting all the things. As I have done for over 80 episodes already. I was surprised about like the length of my East 8, like most of Donna playthrough, or like Let's Play, whatever. But this playthrough is gonna rival that and more. Like we're already over 80 episodes, and I feel like I'm only halfway through the game. Well, kind of. I think I'm over halfway. Like I'm pretty dang far already. I wouldn't say that I'm only halfway. I feel like I've already done a lot of shit. So I presume I want to zoom in a little bit more because I want to be 100% sure about where this thing is. It's actually over here. My god, what is happening to me? There it is, on like a tiny little patch of grass. Right against the mountain. Seems like a korok place. Yeah, and the thing is, I was zoomed in too far, I think, to the point that I couldn't really see. To the point that I couldn't like very specifically see where the items were that I needed. Right, so there is a chest or two in this place. I'm gonna kill that guy, because otherwise he's gonna annoy the living crap out of me. I remember exploring this river in the Let's Play, actually. You know what, speaking of the Let's Play, just because I actually kind of want to talk about this. Or like, I just want to continue to stress on my entire issue, because now I can bring all that stuff up. So, in the final, you won't be able to see that, I think, or will you? I don't think that you'll be able to see it. But in the final session of our blind Let's Play of Breath of the Wild, that is a moment when I started to have like my serious anxiety and like serious panic and all that jazz. You can, like, at least I can notice it about myself. Actually, no, wait, right. I can't notice that about myself. I think if I watched the, if I still had the face cam at that point, which I got rid of at a certain point because I didn't care about it too much anymore. But if I had the face cam, then I would be able to like see me physically just feeling uncomfortable, I think. But when you can't really hear that in the episode that I... Like, you cannot hear it about my voice or whatever, that I feel very uncomfortable or whatever. But I felt really uncomfortable in the final episode. Like, I could not enjoy the ending of this game because I was so stressed out and uncomfortable. It was insane. That entire week at Cube was fucking insane. That's definitely, like... That moment was definitely a turnaround. Alright. It just reminded me of it, because I'm playing Breath of the Wild and I've also noticed in there, like, oh yeah, the blind playthrough. Maybe think about it. I do find it very interesting, though. I always thought that, like, when I was panicking or whatever, when I was having issues of some kind, that would be very visible about me, or like, yeah, just in general visible. I'd be able to see it very easily that I was panicking or feeling very, very uncomfortable. But that's not true. You need to know me pretty dang well to see or hear me feeling bad or whatever. Which is insane. I'm apparently very good at hiding things. A lot better than I ever expected. Even though I don't really want to hide things. It's not really... Well, I kind of do though. I don't really like... Well, I think I used to really dislike putting myself out there. Well, right now it's a lot less of an issue. I don't really care too much what people think about me in public right now. Not as much as I used to. Okay. Can you stop having the Joy-Con drifting? Also, where is this thing? Why do I feel like it's down the cravat? The cravat? Yeah, sure, no, the cravat. Let me go and take a look. Where are you? Stand on the patch of grass near the pinwheel and shoot the 3 balloons. Oh, Jesus Christ. And that made me jump a little bit. Okay. Yahaha, you found me. Bye-bye. Right. So, there is a chest over here. It's actually very visible. Probably didn't even need to mark it down, but I did. I sure dang totally did. Right. And there's another chest up here. I do absolutely love making videos though. Most of the time, I would say. It also totally depends on what I'm doing, really. When it comes to Breath of the Wild over here, like, whenever I finish a session, you might have noticed it about me. Whenever I finish a session or whatever, I'm always like, oh, okay, I've had enough. I'm tired, I'm getting salty, I'm not happy anymore. And then I stop. But, like, every single day after that, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to continue playing Breath of the Wild. That's like the same with all of my Let's Plays, I feel. Even stuff like Fire Emblem, that's like, made me rage to the nth degree. But whenever I was like not doing it, I was constantly thinking like, okay, I can do this strategy. Okay, I might be able to do that or this. I find that to be an amazing thing. I was hoping I could shoot you in the head, but I missed. Forest Dweller's Spear. Your inventory is full. Let's see. I guess I'll throw you away. There you go. And then, not a korok seed. I thought this was a korok seed. The korok seed might be up there then, like upstairs somewhere. Because there is upstairs, yeah, actually no, up on these cliffs. Yeah, over there. Because there is a korok seed over here. Right, bombs away. Yahaha! There we go. So, there's another korok seed over here. Probably on this big tree, because it seems very suspicious to me. Yes, definitely on this big tree. No. It's on this one over here. I hate the fact that like, for some kind of reason I have a lot of issues grabbing onto these trees. Or just any pole in this game. You having some issues handling your pole over there, buddy? Mind if I give you a hand? Oh my goodness! I'm too young for this! I'm not experienced enough. And that is where I will end this conversation. Even though I'm not gonna lie, I'm not very experienced in the ways of physical contact with the other gender. Yeah, man. Never had a relationship. It probably wouldn't be too difficult for me to get a relationship, but like if it wasn't for my anxiety, I mean, that's the thing that puts a damper into that entire stuff, because I cannot really get to know other people that easily. Because like I've had this so many happen to me so many times in my life, at least the last couple of years, where one of my friends is like a very social guy. He does all the different things, and he's always like, "Hey, want to come and do this?" It's like, oh, yeah, mind you, it's also really far away. It's not like it's like a 10-minute drive or something, and I'm at the place where I'm supposed to be. No. It's like an hour drive or something for the guy that I'm talking about. But he and other people also just constantly keep trying to invite me to do stuff. Back in the day, they didn't know what was happening to me, so they found it very strange that I didn't really do much at a certain point. But now that they do know about it, like, they're still trying and all, I guess, which I commend them for. But yeah, I think it wouldn't be too difficult for me to get to find somebody, or to find my true love. But it's also with my anxiety shenanigans, it's also not easy for me to do right now. I also wouldn't be able to. I think I also wouldn't be able to. How do you say it? What's the word for it? I also wouldn't be able to preserve a relationship, if you know what I mean. It would be very difficult for me to do that, because that would require me to do things out of my comfort zone almost constantly, so yeah. And that, my friends, will conclude this episode of Just Right While I was playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 100%. And next episode, I think we're gonna go and this is a difficult one though, because I'm thinking about maybe doing this area first, down here. Sure, up until this point, whatever. Doing all these things down here, underneath this road. If I still have some time, I'll go and do this little bit in between this. And then it's time to do the mountains around here. Then I'll go and do the Bantha Plain up until these mountains, I think. And then it's time to go through the crevice. That's what I was thinking, right? I also, yeah, okay, yeah. Goodbye, people.